Thank you so much. Whoa, reverb. Wow.
And good evening, everyone. It's good to see you all here. I do hope you enjoyed our intro music that is courtesy of Alma Lahar and White Art Collective from their first festival,
Yes.
Wackfest, which they had earlier this year. And that song just really captured me from the moment I heard it. Just okay, we have to start the show with that one.
It's an absolutely beautiful little set there from Alma Lahar. Yeah, big thanks to Whack and him for letting us use that. And I'd just like to thank some people we've already received donations from this stream. Aud, No More Brother Wars, Chief Moody, Dan Dammy, DDJ, Euphemia Signy. Thank you very much to all of you for the lemons and ice creams. Very much appreciated.
Absolutely.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. For those who would like to contribute, but not on D-Live for whatever reason, and we do have an entropy. It's linked in the description on YouTube, also in the About section on D-Live. So, you know, if you would like to do a donation, you are most welcome to, though the show is free. And by the way, I'm Lynx, just in case I forgot to say, which I most probably did.
For anyone who doesn't already know, that is Lynx, and I am Katrina. Hello, and welcome to anyone who's new. So yeah, not really a particular theme tonight. Just some stories that we couldn't quite fit into the last season, but we still thought were really good and like wanted an opportunity to tell them.
Yeah, and also just making a cozy and chill start to a new season. This is season 4, and tonight is also our 1-year anniversary, so happy birthday to us.
Woo.
Yeah, a whole year, that it's gone so fast. I don't really know where the year has gone, really. So
we got Lumi in the chat in YouTube. Hello.
Hello.
JD, Beehole Pooch.
Stop Pooch.
JC.
Yeah.
And 0022.
Yeah. That is,
don't know how you say his name.
Also generic 03.
And no name.
Yeah. And D is starting to ask if I'm a Geordie. Well, I don't know what the Geordie is, as I'm a Norwegian, so, you know, I'm Norwegian-centric. So...
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm not Polish, I'm not Lithuanian, I'm not Romanian or Irish, I'm Norwegian, for anyone who is wondering.
Oh dear. Being miscountryed. It's the bane of your life, isn't it, Lynx?
Yeah, before I know it, I'm from all over Europe. You know, being the quintessential European from every single European country there is, or something. Maybe, who knows?
Indeed.
Isn't Norway just a colder Newcastle? I wouldn't know because I haven't been to Newcastle, but...
I don't think Newcastle has that many, like, fir trees, or indeed fjords.
No.
Pretty sure it's quite lacking in those.
Yeah, I would think so. I do live by a fjord, by the way, so I have, with the exception of 1 year, I've always lived by a fjord my entire life, so I don't know what it's like to live without a fjord. That must be odd.
Mm.
Weird.
I don't really fully know what a fjord is.
It's when the landscape has a big groove, so into the country. So I think you could sort of compare it to a river that flows into the ocean, and widens.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily end in a river. It's basically just seawater. So
No, I
it's,
think I get what you mean.
yes, like a big long groove in the land over water, so that the water goes in. Wow, I just sounded like I
Yeah.
have 80 IQ
Sort
or
of
something.
a lot of like peninsulas, almost.
That as well, and a lot of
Yeah.
islands of different sizes. Yeah, it's basically just a groove in the landscape where the ocean comes in, at the coast.
Nollis has always lived by a ford. Does that count? Now I'm just like what? Nollis has always lived by a classic American car. Okay.
The Henry.
The Henry.
Yeah.
The Fords have been Nollis's neighbours for years.
Yeah.
They were pretty based actually, as I hear. But let's not get into that.
At least one was.
I live by some buildings, trees, and roads. Careful, Dee Dee, don't dox yourself there.
Yeah. It could be worse if you show your thumb, but be careful there.
Yeah.
I was planning on doing a bit of an experiment tonight. I think I have found a way to stream video, but I do need to test it out, and I was thinking the best way to test that is to do it when we usually stream, albeit
Okay.
when autumn and winter sets in, I do think there will be more people online than there is now, but it's still the best time to test it out. So
Yes.
So as
audience participation bit.
Yeah.
Can you see the thing?
Yeah, it will. You have to work for it tonight. I'm afraid. I was thinking we could start off with the little teaser I made for this season before we could mention a bit of our plans for for the rest of the year. So let's go. Let us know, people. So I hope that wasn't too awful. I was keeping on the output.
I could see that just fine, actually,
Okay.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we
I
hope you all could too.
yeah. I don't. I stop the streams in the tabs when I stream, so I can't see it. So yeah.
That was a little taster of what we have coming up for the season, some of our themes there. As you can see, we're collaborating with Bard again. In fact, well, we are also collaborating with White Art Collective this year.
Yeah.
So stay tuned to find out more about what's happening with Halloween. Should be good.
Should be epic.
We should be epic indeed. Do check out the Telegram and Bard and White Art Collective's Telegram channel for details about our competition for entries. For that, we have a few already.
Mm-hmm.
And so that should be really cool.
Yeah.
Some of you lot stuff, your own pieces. That'd be an absolute privilege to showcase those, definitely.
Yeah. We do love to share the talent in our circles whenever we can. So, you know, we do try to find intro music from our people and everything.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
having a show where we really can show our people's talents, like on Halloween, it's an honor, really. Also, we have Laurel Scaife coming back. That is confirmed.
We do. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, she's coming back for 2 shows. Really looking forward to those. We will have one show on masculinity and one on femininity, diving deeper than we did. So, let me look at the calendar. It is the 26th of September and 10th of October. We will have Laura Leon.
The Paradox is jealous of where you live, Lynx. He says he would like to go and see the award-winning fjords designed by Slotted Bartfast. I like it.
Yeah.
Good comment.
Definitely. So I suppose it's Mother Nature who has designed our fjords. So
it could have been Slotted Bartfast, but we don't exactly know what happened.
No, I didn't live back then, so strictly speaking.
Hello, Timmy.
Hey, good to see you.
We can't guarantee a Sossig free stream. There might be a mention of Sossig. Yeah, there probably is going to be a mention of sausage, isn't there, Link?
I can guarantee there is. It's a very nice sausage.
So we can give you like a trigger warning for the sausage if you're traumatized at all. But the stream contains sausage.
Yeah, it's not a vegan stream tonight, I'm afraid.
No.
And
no, there's been some sausage shenanigans.
Apparently.
With the naughty Bard lot. But yeah, did someone say sausage? Yes, we did. There shall be sausage. Yes, they're pleased about that.
And also,
as I predicted.
And also, trigger warning number 2: if you are inordinately emotionally tied to sausages, it might be a bit tragic story. So be aware.
Yes, that's probably required. Some people do seem to be very, very attached to sausages around here.
also we are having our first series, which is quite exciting. We are basing that on Dante's Inferno and the Seven Deadly Sins. And so we're going to, look at the epic poem he made and see what stories we find to connect to those sins, which should be quite interesting, I think.
Yes, that should be indeed one of the sort of major works of the European canon, and something which informs how we still sort of look at morality today. So I think it's a very good choice to cover and have a look at, and possibly link what Dante says in it to attitudes found in earlier folk tales.
Yeah, because the poem itself is really strongly tied to Catholics, the Catholic I can speak, Catholic Church, and how strong the Catholic Church has been around Europe has, of course, changed quite a bit. And, can we find traces from stories from an earlier time and everything? So, it should be quite good, I think. What am I doing? Just fiddling a bit behind the scenes here.
I'll just have a look at the chat here. Yes, Beer Hall Pooch, Halloween stream. Halloween, I believe, actually falls on a Sunday.
It does.
This year.
It is.
That's quite convenient. Can do it on the day itself.
Yeah, Sunday the 31st of October.
We shall be having stories from a range of people. One has already been written by one of our own, and we have something else to maybe give you a little taster of. We have something maybe coming from Whack as well, on sort of the... I'll not give spoilers. I'll not give spoilers, but any sort of entries that you have, I'm going to put an announcement out in Bard about this and on the channel. Any sort of entries that you have by 24th of October, midnight, please. Just so we can go through them and record them and stuff like that.
When it comes to stories, get them ready as soon as possible, really, depending on how many there are. We have to review them and record and edit and all of that. So the more time we have, the better.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah, should be epic. And spooky.
Definitely spooky.
Yeah.
Is it worth the ads on the stream for using that one Dusty Springfield song?
What?
Could be.
What? Oh, Dusty Springfield song?
There's a Dusty Springfield song about spooky. It's called, I can't remember the exact name, but one of the main lyrics is Spooky Little Boy. It's just called Spooky. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just called Spooky. Dusty Springfield, Spooky.
Ah.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
I would recommend anybody go and listen to it. Hello, Ethrin.
Yeah, good evening.
But yeah. So that's a little bit about what we're going to be doing over the course of the new season. We've of course got the list in the description of the D-Live. Should we jump into a story, do you reckon, Links? Or is there any more sort of general housekeeping we need to do?
I don't think there's any housekeeping at the moment, so we can just jump into a story. Did you have a particular one in mind?
Well, seeing as there's been a lot of sausage shenanigans about the Bard recently, I'm sure DDJ, Scott's Armor, and a few other miscreants are just itching to hear what sausage could possibly have to do with this stream. Maybe we could start with your story about the mice, the bird, and the mouse, the bird, and the sausage.
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit of a question how a sausage comes into a story at all. But it did. So let's hear what the mouse, the bird, and the sausage are up to. The mouse, the bird, and the sausage. Once on a time, a mouse, a bird, and a sausage became companions, kept house together, lived well and happily with each other, and wonderfully increased their possessions. The bird's work was to fly every day into the forest and bring back wood. The mouse had to carry water, light the fire, and lay the table, but the sausage had to cook. He who is well off is always longing for something new. One day, therefore, the bird met with another bird on the way, to whom it related its excellent circumstances and boasted of them. The other bird, however, called it a poor simpleton for its hard work, but said that the other two at home had good times. For when the mouse had made her fire and carried her water, she went into a little room to rest until they called her to lay the cloth. The sausage stayed by the pot, saw that the food was cooking well, and when it was nearly time for dinner, it rolled itself once or twice through the broth or the vegetables, and then they were buttered, salted, and ready. When the bird came home and laid his burden down, they sat down to dinner, and after they had had their meal, they slept their fill till next morning, and it was a splendid life. Next day the bird, prompted by the other bird, would go no more into the wood, saying that he had been a servant long enough, and had been made a fool of by them, and that they must change about for once and try to arrange it in another way. And although the mouse and the sausage also begged most earnestly, the bird would have his way, and said it must be tried. They cast lots about it, and the lot fell on the sausage, who was to carry wood. The mouse became cook, and the bird was to fetch water. What happened? The little sausage went out towards the wood. The little bird lighted the fire. The mouse stayed by the pot, and waited alone until the sausage came home and brought wood for next day. But the little sausage stayed so long on the road that they both feared something was amiss, and the bird flew out a little way in the air to meet it. Not far off, however, it met a dog on the road who had fallen on the poor sausage as lawful booty, and had seized it and swallowed it. The bird charged the dog with an act of barefaced robbery, but it was in vain to speak, for the dog said he had found forged letters on the sausage, on which account its life was forfeit to him. The bird sadly took up the wood, flew home, and related what he had seen and heard. They were very much troubled, but agreed to do their best and remain together. The bird therefore laid the cloth, and the mouse made ready the food, and wanted to dress it, and to get into the pot as the sausage used to do, and roll and creep amongst the vegetables to mix them. But before she got into the midst of them, she was stopped, and lost her skin and hair and life in the attempt. When the bird came to carry up the dinner, no cook was there. In its distress, the bird threw the wood here and there, called and searched, but no cook was to be found. Owing to his carelessness, the wood caught fire, that a conflagration ensued. The bird hastened to fetch water, and then the bucket dropped from his claws into the well, and he fell down with it, and could not recover himself, but had to drown there. So yeah, easy being a sausage. to go into the wood and gather wood. Because inevitably you will be accused of having forged letters on you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I was impressed enough with the sausage makes food. You know, and makes everything buttered and salted and ready and everything. I would like a sausage like that. Yeah. 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 So, have I? Oh my god, I unmuted the wrong audio.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Couldn't do a stream without a boomer tech issue, no, could I?
Wait, have they been hearing us?
They've been hearing me, but not you. I'm sorry.
Oops.
I was saying to myself, don't do that tonight. So obviously I had to do that tonight.
Ethrin is always having trouble with the birds, apparently.
Ah.
Every time that he goes near a bush with birds tweeting in it, and they all stop. So they must be talking about him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The birds are watching you. The birds work for the government. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe you know bird speak. Or they think you know bird speak, so they don't dare to talk in case you get what they're saying.
DDJ did not believe me when I said that sausage would be in this show. Well, this just shows that you should indeed believe me when I say things.
Believe every task.
Yes.
Every single word.
So it was all a marketing ploy for the stream. Yep. Yeah, that's what the entire shenanigans were about. Okay, I'll stop saying worst. I can't call it the English word, so I'll just call it a worst. Yeah. I've been told to stop saying that word.
By whom?
By DDJ.
Why are you listening to him?
Don't know, actually. Sausage.
Always a good question. So yeah.
Yeah. We have to stop saying it because Didi's ribs are too sore from the last couple of days shenanigans. For anyone who doesn't know, you possibly don't want to know. Das ist mir Wurst.
Das ist mir Wurst. I just really read that in, you know, super German voice, which I can't replicate. So yeah, we did actually have a sausage featuring in tonight's show.
We did. I guess the whole little moral of that story is that everyone's suited to what they're suited to.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't try to swap jobs just for the sake of fairness in inverted commas.
Well, if you have something that works, and someone from outside comes in and says, "Oh, it isn't really working, you're just imagining it," you might not want to listen because you know it's
Yeah.
working. So, basically
Okay.
just trust yourself and the system you've got going.
hmm Yeah, I'd say that's probably about the moral of that one.
Yeah,
Mustard.
I
The
can't
Paradox
promise.
is very enthusiastic about mustard.
Okay, I cannot promise a show featuring mustard, to be honest. So, sorry.
That might not crop up.
No.
Yeah, I don't think people tend to write stories specifically involving that particular condiment. What is that GIF? It's not a GIF; it's a sticker. But yes, why is there a Pepe emerging from a toilet in our chat? I'm
I don't
confused
know.
now.
Well, Pepe does a lot of strange stuff. But
Sausages.
considering a sausage is forging letters, what on earth would mustard be up to?
I have no idea.
That is actually a good question.
It's spicy.
Yeah,
It'd probably just be getting banned from Twitter.
yeah, and everywhere else.
Mm.
Ah,
Famous French king was murdered by mustard.
that is some
He
hot
was.
mustard.
Mm.
But either it was too hot or
Yes.
it was poisoned, I would suppose.
Yes, Aod, this show is every Sunday, apart from when we are on a hiatus, which we have been for the last couple of months, just thinking of more themes, getting some stuff sorted out. Usually we're on every Sunday.
Yeah, it was good having a break for a couple of months. It was really needed. We do need to get back some energy and
Yeah,
everything.
sure.
It's quite a lot of work, this show, actually. So, not complaining.
Not meaning to complain. No, no.
No, absolutely not. It was just a bit more than I first anticipated. So, but now I have most of the tech fixed and sorted. So there's more time to focus on content, which is great.
Yes. Yeah. And so we've got a few random stories tonight, and that was one of them. Yeah, it was going to be good luck fitting that into a stream theme. that wasn't really going to fit anywhere. But it's quite funny, we thought. Also tonight we have a story about storytelling itself, and someone who's very stuck for an idea, but lands upon a chance for inspiration. But it's certainly a blessing in disguise. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Isn't that
also
always the case?
Yes, true. Quite not very often just straightforward blessings in these tales. But yeah, corgis as well. We have corgis because that was a story that I couldn't fit into the pet stream, but I thought that it was a really cute one, like a really cool little origin story. Definitely.
Yeah. I haven't actually listened to the story, so it will be the first time for me as well, which is kind of cozy. I usually do know the stories beforehand, so but since it's a cozy and chill stream, why not enjoy the story in time with everyone else?
Exactly. Well, the title of the particular one that I think we should maybe have next, of course, doesn't apply to us because we are never such. the storyteller at fault.
We're never
Definitely
at fault.
No, no,
We are not faulty
not
at
us.
all. It
Not
doesn't happen.
relatable.
Nope.
No. Nope.
We are always right, no matter what.
100% accuracy guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. Is this when we get to believe all women?
Yeah, apparently. Believe what I say because I am a woman.
Yeah. Oh, it's so silly.
Oh dear. It is. It's very silly. Shall we have that story? That's a bit of a longer one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a bit more lengthy, so you can just sit back, relax, hopefully
Yes.
with a drink of some kind. So, yeah.
Yes, and I will have a little bit more explanation about it at the end.
Yeah, okay, let's roll the story.
The Storyteller at Fault, a Celtic folktale. At the time when the Tuatha De Danann held the sovereignty of Ireland, there reigned in Leinster a king who was remarkably fond of hearing stories. Like other princes and chieftains of the island, he had a favourite storyteller who held a large estate from his majesty on condition of telling him a new story every night of his life before he went to sleep. Many indeed were the stories he knew, so that he had already reached a good old age without failing even for a single night in his task. And such was the skill he displayed, that whatever cares of state or other annoyances might prey upon the monarch's mind, his storyteller was sure to send him to sleep. One morning, the storyteller arose early, and, as his custom was, strolled out into his garden, turning over in his mind incidents which he might weave into a story for the king at night. But this morning he found himself quite at fault. After pacing his whole demesne, he returned to his house without being able to think of anything new or strange. He found no difficulty in "there once was a king who had 3 sons," or "one day the king of all Ireland," but further than that he could not get. At length he went in to breakfast, and found his wife much perplexed at his delay. "Why don't you come to breakfast, my dear?" said she. "I have no mind to eat anything," replied the storyteller. "Long as I have been in the service of the King of Leinster, I never sat down to breakfast without having a new story ready for the evening. But this morning my mind is quite shut up, and I don't know what to do. I might as well lie down and die at once. I'll be disgraced forever this evening when the king calls for his storyteller." Just at this moment the lady looked out of the window. "Did you see that black thing at the end of the field?" said she. "I do," replied her husband. They drew nigh, and saw a miserable-looking old man lying on the ground with a wooden leg placed beside him. "Who are you, my good man?" asked the storyteller. "Oh, then, 'tis little matter who I am. I am a poor, old, lame, decrepit, miserable creature sitting down here to rest a while. And what are you doing with that box and dice I see in your hand?" "I am waiting here to see if anyone will play a game with me," replied the beggar-man. "Play with you? What has a poor old man like you to play for?" "I have 100 pieces of gold in this leathern purse," replied the old man. "You may as well play with him," said the storyteller's wife, "and perhaps you'll have something to tell the king in the evening." A smooth stone was placed between them, and upon it they cast their throws. It was but a little while, and the storyteller lost every penny of his money. Much good may it do you, friend, said he. What better hap could I look for? Fool that I am. Will you play again? Asked the old man. Don't be talking, man. You have all my money. Have you chariot, and horses, and hounds? Well, what of them? I'll stake all the money I have against thine. Nonsense, man. Do you think for all the money in Ireland I'd run the risk of seeing my lady tramp home on foot? Maybe you'd win, said the Burkoff. Maybe I wouldn't, said the storyteller. Play with him, husband, said his wife. I don't mind walking if you do, love. I never refused you before, said the storyteller, and I won't do so now. Down he sat again, and in one throw lost houses, hounds, and chariot. Will you play again? Asked the beggar. Are you making game of me, man? What else have I to stake? I'll stake all my winnings against your wife, said the old man. The storyteller turned away in silence, but his wife stopped him. Accept his offer, said she. This is the third time, and who knows what luck you may have. You'll surely win now. They played again, and the storyteller lost. No sooner had he done so than to his sorrow and surprise his wife went and sat down near the ugly old beggar. Is that the way you're leaving me? Said the storyteller. Sure I was won, said she. You would not cheat the poor old man, would you? Had you any more to stake? Asked the old man. You know very well I have not, replied the storyteller. I'll stake the whole now, wife and all, against your own self, said the man. Again they played, and again the storyteller lost. Well, here I am. And what do you want with me? I'll soon let you know, said the old man, and he took from his pocket a long cord and a wand. Now, said he to the storyteller, what kind of animal would you rather be? A deer, a fox, or a hare? You have your choice now, but you may not have it later. To make a long story short, the storyteller made his choice of a hare. The old man threw the cord around him, struck him with a wand, and lo, a long-eared, frisking hare was skipping and jumping on the green. But it wasn't for long, for who but his wife called the hounds and set them on him? The hare fled. The dogs followed. Round the field ran a high wall, so high that run as he might, he couldn't get out. And mightily diverted were the beggar and the lady to see him twist and double. In vain he did take refuge with his wife. She kicked him back again to the hounds, until at length the beggar stopped the hounds with a stroke of the wand. Panting and breathless, the storyteller stood before them again. And how did you like the sport? Said the beggar. It might be sport to others, replied the storyteller, looking at his wife. For my part, I could well put up with the loss of it. Would it be asking too much, he went on to the beggar, to know who you are at all, or where you come from, or why you take a pleasure in plaguing a poor old man like me? Oh, replied the stranger, I'm an odd kind of good-for-little fellow, one day poor, another day rich, but if you wish to know more about me or my habits, come with me, and perhaps I may show you more than you would make out if you went alone. I'm not my own master to go or stay, said the storyteller with a sigh. The stranger put one hand into his wallet and drew out, before their eyes, a well-looking, middle-aged man, to whom he spoke as follows. By all you heard and saw since I put you in my wallet, take charge of this lady, and of the carriage and horses, and have them ready for me when I want them. Scarcely had he said these words when all vanished, and the storyteller found himself at the Fox's Ford, near the castle of Red Hugh O'Donnell. He could see all, but none could see him. O'Donnell was in his hall, and the heaviness of flesh and weariness of spirit were upon him. "Go out," he said to his doorkeeper, "and see who or what may be coming." The doorkeeper went, and what he saw was a lank, grey beggar-man, half his sword bared behind his haunch, his 2 shoes full of cold, road-awayish water sousing about him, the tips of his 2 ears out through his old hat, his 2 shoulders out through his scant tattered cloak, and in his hand a green wand of holly. "Save you, O'Donnell," said the lank grey beggar-man. "And you likewise," said O'Donnell. "Whence you come, and what is your craft?" "I come from the outmost stream of earth, from the glens where the white swans glide, a night in Islay, a night in Man, a night on the cold hillside." "It is a great traveller you are," said O'Donnell. "Maybe you learnt something on the road." "I am a juggler," said the lank grey beggar-man, "and for 5 pieces of silver you shall see a trick of mine." "You shall have them," said O'Donnell, and the lank grey beggar-man took 3 small straws and placed them in his hand. "The middle one," said he, "I'll blow away. The other 2 I'll leave." "Thou canst not do it," said one and all. But the lank grey beggar-man put a finger on either outside straw, and whiff! Away he blew the middle one. "'Tis a good trick," said O'Donnell, and paid him his 5 pieces of silver. "For half the money," said one of the chief's lads, "I'll do the same trick." "Take him at his word, O'Donnell." The lad put 3 straws on his hand, and a finger on either outside straw, and he blew, and what happened? But the fist was blown away with the straw. "Thou art sore, and thou wilt be sorer," said O'Donnell. "6 more pieces, O'Donnell, and I'll do another trick for thee," said the lank grey beggar-man. "6 shalt thou have. Seest thou my 2 ears? I'll move one, but not t'other. 'Tis easy to see them. They're big enough, but thou canst never move one ear and not the 2 together." The lank grey beggar-man put his hand to his ear, and gave it a pull. O'Donnell laughed, and paid him the 6 pieces. "Call that a trick?" said the fistless lad. "Anyone could do that." And so saying, he put up his hand, pulled his ear, and what happened was that he pulled away ear and head. "Sore thou art, and sorer thou'lt be," said Donnell. "Well, O'Donnell," said the lank grey beggar-man, "strange tricks I've shown thee, but I'll show thee a stranger one yet for the same money." "Thou hast my word for it," said O'Donnell. With that, the lank grey beggar-man took a bag from under his armpit, and out from the bag a ball of silk, and he unwound the ball, and he flung it slantwise up into the clear blue heavens, and it became a ladder. Then he took a hare, and placed it upon the thread, and up it ran. Again he took out a red-eared hound, and it ran swiftly up after the hare. "Now," said the lank grey beggar-man, "has any one mind to run after the dog, and on the course?" "I will," said a lad of O'Donnell's. "Up with you then," said the juggler. "But I warn you, if you let my hare be killed, I'll cut your head off when you come down." The lad ran up the thread, and all 3 soon disappeared. After looking up for a long time, the lank grey beggar-man said, "I'm afraid the hound is eating the hare, and that our friend has fallen asleep." Saying this, he began to wind the thread, and down came the lad fast asleep, and down came the red-eared hound, and in his mouth the last morsel of the hare. He struck the lad a stroke with the edge of his sword, and so cast his head off. As for the hound, if he used it no worse, he used it no better. "It's little I'm pleased, and sore I'm angered," said O'Donnell, "that a hound and a lad should be killed at my court. 5 pieces of silver twice over to each of them, and their heads shall be on them as before." "Thou shalt get that," said O'Donnell. 5 pieces, and again 5 were paid for him, and lo, the lad had his head, and the hound had his. And though they lived to the utmost end of time, the hound would never touch a hair again, and the lad took good care to keep his eyes open. Scarcely had the lank grey beggarman done this when he vanished from out of their sight, and no one present could say if he had flown through the air or the earth had swallowed him up. He moved as wave tumbling o'er wave, as whirlwind following whirlwind, as furious wintry blast, so swiftly, sprucely, cheerily, brightly, proudly, and no stop made until he came to the court of Leinster's king. He gave a cheery light leap o'er the top of turret of court and city of Leinster's king. Heavy was the flesh and weary the spirit of Leinster's king. 'Twas the hour he was wont to hear a story, but send he might right and left, not a jot of tidings about the storyteller could he get. "Go to the door," said he to his doorkeeper, "and see if a soul is in sight who may tell me something about my storyteller." The doorkeeper went, and what he saw was a lank grey beggarman, half his sword bared behind his haunch, his 2 old shoes full of cold road-awayish water sousing about him, the tips of his 2 ears out through his old hat, his 2 shoulders out through his scant tattered cloak, and in his hand a 3-stringed harp. "What canst thou do?" said the doorkeeper. "I can play," said the lank grey beggarman. "Never fear," he added to the storyteller, "thou shalt see all, and not a man shall see thee." When the king heard a harper was outside, he bade him in. "It is I that have the best harpers in 5/5 of Ireland," said he, and he signed them to play. They did so, and if they played, the lank grey beggarman listened. "Heardest thou ever the like?" said the king. "Did you ever hear, O king, hear a cat purring over a bowl of broth, or the buzzing of beetles in the twilight, or a shrill-tongued old woman scolding your head off?" "That I have often," said the king. "More melodious to me," said the lank grey beggarman, "were the worst of these sounds than the sweetest harping of thy harpers." When the harpers heard this, they drew their swords and rushed at him. But instead of striking him, their blows fell on each other, and soon not a man but was cracking his neighbour's skull and getting his own cracked in return. When the king saw this, he thought it hard the harpers weren't content with murdering their music, but needs must murder each other. "Hang the fellow who began it all," said he. "If I can't have a story, let me have peace." Up came the guards, seized the lank grey beggarman, marched him to the gallows, and hanged him high and dry. Back they marched to the hall, and who should they see but the lank grey beggarman, seated on a bench with his mouth to a flagon of ale. "Never welcome you in," cried the captain of the guard. "Didn't we hang you this minute? And what brings you here?" "It is me myself." "You mean?" "Who else?" said the captain. "May your hand turn into a pig's foot when you think of tying the rope. Why should you speak of hanging me?" Back they scurried to the gallows, and there hung the king's favourite brother. Back they hurried to the king, who had fallen fast asleep. "Please your majesty," said the captain, "we hanged that strolling vagabond, but here he is, back again, as well as ever." "Hang him again," said the king, and off he went to sleep once more. They did as they were told, but what happened was that they found the king's chief harper hanging where the lank grey beggarman should have been. The captain of the guard was sorely puzzled. "Are you wishful to hang me a 3rd time?" said the lank grey beggarman. "Go where you will," said the captain, "and as fast as you please, if only you'll go far enough. It's trouble enough you've given us already." "Now you're reasonable," said the beggarman, "and since you've given up trying to hang a stranger because he finds fault with your music, I don't mind telling you, if you go back to the gallows, you'll find your friends sitting on the sward, none the worse for what has happened." As he said these words, he vanished, and the storyteller found himself on the spot where they first met, where his wife was still with the carriage and horses. "Now," said the lank grey beggarman, "I'll torment you no longer. There's your carriage, and there's your horses, and your money and your wife. Do what you please with them. For my carriage, my houses, and my hounds, I thank you. But my wife and my money you may keep." "No," said the other, "I want neither, and as for your wife, don't think ill of her for what she did. She couldn't help it." "Not help it? Not help kicking me into the mouth of my own hounds? Not help casting me off for the sake of a beggarly old—" "I'm not as beggarly or as old as you think. I am Angus of the Brough. Many a good turn you've done me with the King of Leinster. This morning my magic told me the difficulty you were in. I made up my mind to get you out of it. As for your wife, the power that changed your body changed her mind. Forget and forgive as a man and wife should do. And now you have a story for the King of Leinster when he calls for one." And with that he disappeared. It's true enough. He now had a story fit for a king. From first to last he told all that had befallen him. So long and loud laughed the king that he couldn't go to sleep at all, and he told the storyteller never to trouble for fresh stories, but every night as long as he lived he listened again, and he laughed afresh at the tale of the lank grey beggarman.
Oh, it's not always easy being a storyteller, that's for sure.
No, not always. Sometimes one can be lacking in inspiration for a story. Definitely never made a panicked decision about which story to read 2 days before a stream. Nope.
No,
That has not happened.
Never, never. We always
No.
have them planned weeks before.
Weeks in advance.
Oh yeah. Thank you to I Agree for the diamond. A bit sad that the new time is crashing with your kids' bedtime.
Yeah, that is sad. Mostly we were thinking about sort of our European pals not having to go to bed so late. I think so you're to bed quite late because you're an hour ahead on me, and I go to bed pretty early myself, as anybody who knows me will tell you.
Yeah, I tend to be a bit of a night owl, but still, to get a bit of a more normal rhythm to my day, finishing off at 11 can be a bit difficult.
Oh,
so
Dianeka's ghost just donated 1 diamond. Sorry, I'm not quite sure how to actually pronounce your name, Dianeka's ghost, but thank you for the diamond very much. Thank you.
Thank you. It's one of those names that's a bit difficult to pronounce. Some of them can...
There's a few difficult to pronounce ones and a few I can't say that on stream ones.
Yeah. And some are, let's just say, interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But isn't that always the case with the internet usernames? So, yeah, just a little bit of explanation about that story, because of course, at the end, it turns out it's Angus of the Brough. And you're probably all thinking, who the heck is that? Well, unfortunately, my answer for you is I don't rightly know. But I do know who it could be. And the strongest contender actually appears to be the god Angus, who's also called Ongus, beginning with an O, or Mac ind Ok. I have no idea how to pronounce this. I should just learn better Gaelic or Gaelic pronunciation. But he's one of the Tuatha Dé Danann, and originally associated with love, summer, poetic inspiration. So it's kind of fitting if it's him that he's visiting a storyteller for the first sort of point in Feyther. And he's the son of the Dagda and Boan. Angus is also known as Mac and Og. He's sort of similar to Mabon and Maponos. But in Scotland, he's a bit different. He's the husband of Breed, who's the sort of summer, spring goddess, and the son of Vera, who's the queen of winter. So that's sort of who he is in both of those mythologies. And there's definitely points in favour of this guy being the god Angus, because in Scottish folklore, Angus possesses a golden harp with silver strings. And Angus does indeed own a sword named Moraltach, the Great Fury, which is given to him by Manannán mac Lir, who's the sea god in the Irish pantheon. And I guess, seeing as he's the son of winter, this might be why he's carrying the holly in this tale. And there might be some sort of winter form of Angus. But certainly, Angus is sort of known for a bit of trickery. He's most known for cheating his father, Dagda, out of his abode, Bruna Boyne, by using a trick of Irish grammar. You see, Irish has no indefinite article. So a day and a night winds up being the same as day and night, which is how Angus tricks his father out of his main abode. This happens actually slightly differently in another version of the story called The Wooing of Etain, where Angus takes Bruna Boyne from someone else called Elkmar, but he uses the same semantic ruse. So that's a lot of evidence in favour, really, for this guy being Angus. And, he says he's not as old as he looks as well. That would have to be the case because Angus is generally regarded as young and fair because he's associated with spring, really. And another reference that I also found to Angus and broth was in an Ordnance Survey name book of Forfarshire, which is also known as Angus in Scotland, and it's one of the 34 traditional counties which Scotland was divided into for sort of administrative purposes. And it's sort of from the Firth of Tay, Cairngorm Mountains, North Sea coast, that sort of area. It'd probably be better to just show it on a map, but I'll try and find a picture to drop in the chat. But there is a place called Brothshank, which is another name, I think, for Mouat's seat. And there is it's generally spoken of. Mouat's seat is an area belonging to a clan of the Mouats. And Brothshank is part of their territory, so it could be that this guy's had an association with that Brothshank, which is in Angus. And there's a surname Broth in Scotland as well. So there is a Scottish clan, it seems.
When you said Angus of broth, I was thinking of the food staple broth.
Yeah.
And there is a cow breed named Angus. And I just, wow, cow broth.
Cow broth. Basically Bovril. I don't think he's Angus of Bovril.
Probably not, but...
I'm not sure they had Bovril back when they were kings of Leinster. I couldn't find out, I didn't even know where to begin, by the way, of which king of Leinster this might be, because there's been many. And there doesn't seem to be a reference to what time period this is happening in.
No, it seems to be a bit of a timeless tale. Where, it happened one time, but you can't really tell when. But it was
Yeah.
At the time, long ago.
But yeah, I definitely think just due to the items that he turns up with in this tale, and the trickery element, and the poetic inspiration of the bard in this tale, that Angus is probably the strongest contender for this central figure of Angus the Broth being Angus, the actual god.
Yeah, well, it's good to hear it's not broth made of a god. So, sorry, my mind just went
no.
completely into food. Maybe it's the fault
would
of
be.
the sausage.
Maybe it is the fault of the sausage.
Yeah.
Everything's the fault of the sausage these days, isn't it?
Yeah, poor little thing. It must be the forged papers.
Oh dear. Well, it shouldn't have been committing fraud, to be fair.
No.
Moral of that story: commit fraud, get eaten by a dog? Don't know.
Something like that.
The god of boiled cow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a very keto sort of god. The bone broth god.
Yeah.
Pray to the bone broth god for good bone broth.
Something like that.
Nutritious. But yes, definitely Angus the Broth. Bruff. In fact,
Okay.
that is a surname. There's like obituaries and birth records and stuff for people with that surname. So I might have to do a bit more finding out
Yeah, well,
about
at least
that. It's not a surname I've ever encountered before.
no, but at least the spelling was different from broth, so
Yes.
that's good. In Norway, there are people who have the last name of Sylta, which is food. Two kinds, actually.
I mean, we've got stuff like that here. Pretty sure, yeah, Bacon is a valid surname.
Yeah, that always had me giggle as a little girl with Kevin Bacon.
Yep.
And
Good surname.
Speaking of mustard, there's an English actress who gave one of her daughters mustard as a middle name.
Oh, is that the one married to the guy from Coldplay?
It might be.
Aye, she's weird. Gwyneth Paltrow. She's weird.
Yeah, it's not her. I think she played one of the main characters in Cold Feet.
Oh yeah. Not as good as our place names, but we won't go there again. No, let's not go there again. Sossig is now on vogue as a name, or at least it should be.
I will never name one of my kids that. That's for sure. I'll leave that one to D.
I mean, you could call your dog Sossig. If you really must. Yeah, could do. Especially if it was a sausage dog.
I came across that searching for a picture of a dog with a sausage. In Norway, we call those ovnsrørhund. Hund is dog in Norwegian. Ovnsrør is basically the pipe to your oven. Because they look like a piece of pipe.
They do.
And there was this woman who wrote some classic children's stories in around 1950s and everything. And one of those stories had one of those dogs who was named Ovnsrøra. Basically the oven pipe.
Yeah. Yeah, the Americans, they They call them wiener dogs,
Yeah.
which reminds me of a song by a post-punk band, which is totally unsuitable for this stream. So I'm not gonna name it.
No.
Uh,
We could go in several directions from this. And
We could.
as
well,
I
we've
agree,
gotten onto dogs. We have gotten onto dogs, which is what we were going to be going on to.
yeah,
We've segued.
yeah, we did. I do think this isn't a stream to listen to if you're hungry.
No, we seem to
ended up,
be talking about the food.
yeah, it's a food stream, though not
We could
a
have a
cooking
food
stream.
stream. I mean, I like food. If we did foods, I don't know how many like stories there are about food, like folklore stories, but I'd just be up for talking about food for a whole stream.
Yeah, my conch is on YouTube is actually cooking dinner, so for him it's probably quite appropriate.
Nice.
I do hope you get to taste the dinner, Mike, and enjoy.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Mike Honk probably does not have a magical sausage to help him out
No.
with his.
Helping out with his vegetables.
Oh, so's Yankee Apple. Yankee Apple is cooking now. And DDJ had a pie, of course he did.
Did he always have a pie?
This is none. An Angus sausage. Another thing. Like a good broth. God broth. Don't talk about God broth. That's not. They're not going to be happy with you about that.
No.
Unless you're offering broth to them. I wouldn't talk about that.
No. Offer them broth. Don't make them into broth.
Well, you don't really stand a chance at that.
No, not really.
You could try. You could try and put Thor in a soup. I don't think it's gonna. He's gonna electrocute you.
Yeah, I think you'd be a bit better off convincing him to make a broth of one of his goats. Just make sure not to break the bones.
No. He's already got problems due to that, apparently.
Yeah, and it will mean a life of servitude to the god. So.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sausage. Gammon sandwich. Yes. Yeah, sausage.
Gammon sandwich.
Gammon sausage sandwich?
Can you make
say that 3 times fast.
Gammon sausage sandwich. Anyways, both of those things would probably interest corgis.
Yeah.
Who are about to come up in the next story. And DDJ will like it, because it's Welsh.
Oh. Yeah.
Corgis are a very, very Welsh dog. But yeah, and they are a lot more magical than you think.
Do they come with a wand? I just blanked on the word.
I don't think they do come with a wand. But the story shall explain. The story shall explain why corgis are magic.
Okay.
He used to go away. Never mind. Send you it later.
Okay, let's hear of the magic corgi.
The Fairy Tale of Two Corgis. Adaptation by Kim Campbell Thornton. Wales is a fairy tale country, with castles around every corner, and elves or fairies behind every standing stone, It stands to reason, then, that Wales would have fairy-tailed dogs. Here, then, is the tale of how the corgi came to be. Queen Mab clapped her hands. "I am bored," she cried. "Let us take our steeds and go for a ride." Instantly before the Fairy Queen appeared a small red and white dog, wearing a gold collar and bell. On his back was a tiny saddle, made of the finest leather and chased in silver. Similar dogs appeared to the other members of the fairy court. They each mounted their enchanted dogs, and led by Queen Mab and her huntsman Dark Edric, they rode out of the hollow hills. By the light of the moon they flew through the forests of Wales. Suddenly one of the fairies gave a cry. His steed had brushed against a trap set by poachers. Made of iron, its touch was deadly to fairy folk, and both the courtier and his little dog were laid low by its power. The other fairies gathered around, yet keeping their distance, lest they too be struck down by the cold bite of iron. "What should we do?" said Queen Mab. "We cannot leave them here to die." A small, hesitant voice broke the silence that followed her question. A human boy peered from behind a tree, his frightened sister at his side. If you please, your Majesty, I can move the trap away so that it won't be touching them any more," he said. "And my sister knows herbs. She might be able to ease their pain." "What are you doing out at this time of night, boy?" the Queen demanded. "Do you not know that the night holds many dangers for mortals?" "My father is a shepherd," the boy replied. "Our best ewe is lost, and without her we shall surely starve." "Heal my friends," the Queen said, "and I shall repay you many times over." The boy and his sister tugged at the heavy trap until it was far enough away to do no harm. Then the girl gathered white oak bark and blackberry leaves. Wetting them in the stream, she made a soothing compress. With their rapid healing powers, the fairy and his dog were soon well again. "I promised you a reward, boy," Queen Mab said. Twice she rang the golden bell that hung around her dog's neck. 2 red and white puppies appeared. They were low-set, strong and sturdy, with dark eyes that gleamed with intelligence. "These are fairy dogs," Queen Mab said. "They are swift and clever and true, and they can herd cattle as well as sheep. Treat them well, and you shall never lose your livestock again." Then she clapped her hands, and the entire fairy court disappeared, leaving behind only the 2 pups. The shepherd's family prospered, and the fairy dogs gave birth to puppies. The corgis, as they became known, from the Welsh words cor meaning dwarf and gi meaning dog, were highly prized throughout the land for their herding ability. As a mark of their fairy steed origin, they all bore saddle or harness marks behind their shoulders, and on a midsummer's day, if the dogs were a little tired for once, as they so rarely were, the shepherds simply nodded their heads wisely. They knew that every midsummer's eve the fairies returned to ride the corgis, so they would never forget where they came from.
Oh, so they are dogs of the good people.
Yes, that is apparently what the corgi is. A breed of dog that originally belonged to the good people. But people do reckon that they are among the oldest British breeds. And as said in the story, Corgi was ancient Celtic for dog. And historians do surmise that ancient corgis were brought from Central Europe to Wales by the Celts during their mass migrations to Britain in around 1200 BC. And we can say with quite some certainty that corgis were driving Welsh herds like 1000 years ago. The reason why they're so short like that is to best nip at the heels of cattle and also avoid being kicked. So dogs who drive herds to pasture or market in this sort of heel nipping style, they're called heelers. And they're very adaptable. They moved the herd by day. They served as flock guardian at night. They've been an all-around farm dog, hunting partner. You know, they can be used as protection dogs. They're a very cool breed. Apparently, the queen no longer has any corgis. She has had over 30 corgis throughout her 63-year reign, but apparently her last one died in 2018, which is sad. No more corgis. But she apparently first fell in love with them in 1933 when her father gifted a corgi to Elizabeth and Margaret. They've been in the royal family ever since that, apparently. Not the hugest fan of the royal family, but I do like the corgis. Corgis are awesome.
Plus for them for at least having dogs. At least there's
at least they
one...
like dogs.
Yeah.
Like that is evidence in favor of them like not being lizards or something.
Yeah.
They're like they at least like dogs.
Yeah. Well, our crown princess family just lost their family dog, so at least they like dogs as well, so I suppose that's in their favor. At least that's one thing.
Well, you tend to find a lot of the posh people that do like their dogs. They're very attached to them. They're hunting dogs and such like.
Yeah. I don't think it's hunting dogs over here, but at least there's dogs.
Broken oven, Mike. Hope that gets fixed soon.
Yeah, I've not had a kitchen for some time as it's being remodeled, so I know the feeling.
Corgis are for good people. Yes, they are, Timmy. Look at that little face. Doesn't he deserve a good owner? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I love that picture of that corgi. He's so happy.
Mm-hmm.
They're apparently quite low maintenance as pets. But they can be really like vocal and barky, and they've got a heck of a lot of energy. And apparently they can be known for overeating. So you have to be very careful with that. Them. And they can sometimes... They're good with other humans.
Yeah, I do suspect that a high energy dog who tends to bark a lot do need the right owners.
Yeah.
I have come across too many dogs who are barkers, basically because they have the wrong owner, who don't really know how to train them and exercise them and make their life as it's best for the dog,
I mean, yeah, there is a problem with people not really enforcing correct discipline with dogs these days, owing to, well, lacking the stomach for it, really. I mean, I think a lot of people these days treat them as surrogate babies or children, and we're always being told not to do adequate discipline to children either.
Yeah.
because there's more and more emphasis on them getting to choose every single thing that they do
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, which, well,
Yeah.
there's some interesting legislation in Scotland at the moment about what they can and can't choose, of course.
The
Won't go too far into that.
The Scottish Parliament do seem to be quite fond of micromanaging the people.
Yes.
But I do suspect that many choose a dog out of how they look. Oh, that's a
Yes.
cute dog, I want that one, which might end up as the completely wrong breed for them.
I know.
I did hear a dog trainer who had courses in dog training and everything comment that
Yes.
a lot of people coming to his courses, the first thing he thought was,
Yeah.
that is the wrong breed for these people. So combine that with too low interest to discipline the dog, and the children basically not wanting to be
Yeah.
the boss, the alpha male and female in the family. So yeah, it's a general problem, and it's you do see it quite a bit.
Definitely.
And it seems like it basically is coming back with a vengeance in the woke circles.
Oh, yeah.
Where they really, really want to have people on a tight leash. And they you have to agree with them 100%, no matter what.
Yeah.
Or
Exactly.
basically you're in for a hounding, if not. But more and more people are waking up to that, basically just having enough, which is good. They are basically eating their own, so woohoo!
Yeah. I'm just looking through some of the comments here. I love my golden retriever. He's 8 this year. Great with the kids. I'd love a mastiff, another ancient British breed. Yes, Ragnar, I have seen your Malamute Raven. She is just the floofiest and the cutest. I love the big fluffy dogs. Honestly, I do want one, but then again, I have to consider in the future whether that's the right sort of dog to get. I mean, I also love sausage dogs.
Oh, what's the breed? Of course, I am blanking on the breed. Is the one where they used to cut the ears so they were pointy and standing straight up. A guard dog. I do have a thing for them, but I suspect I'm not the right one for a dog like that. So I think I will stick to a breed that is a bit more manageable.
Oh dear. Yeah, Espen, that doesn't sound like a good way to train a puppy at all. No, it doesn't understand automatically what the word sit means. You have to push its butt down and make it sit to make it know what that word means. Of course.
Yeah, they do have to learn what the word means. And then you reward it when they get it right and correct it when they don't. That's the way they will learn. But of course, you have to know what it's supposed to do at the start, or it will be quite futile. So.
Thank you to Stephen O for the 3 ice creams. Thank you very much. Yeah, but definitely ensure dog knows what to do. Correct dog. give dog treat for doing the right thing. Could work the same with children, really. Incentivized, but there's different philosophies about that. To be honest, about how to give children motivation to do things.
Yeah, I would say that. Oops, what am I doing now? Oh, sorry, I was pressing the wrong key. There
I
are
have to
different.
say, sit and show the sausage. Ah,
Well, hopefully it won't sit on the sausage.
hopefully.
Yeah,
Probably just eat it.
yeah, that is more likely.
Yes. Please do, go and check out DDJ and Scott's armor after this. Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to link.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, drop the link in the chat. If you have a stream premiere link for the YouTube.
Mhm.
But yeah. We're all out of stories for the night.
Yes,
Because
we
it's
are.
just a sort of cozy introductory coming back stream. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves. And
Mhm.
we hope you learned some new facts about Irish gods or corgis or sausages.
Letter forging sausages. That must be a particular German breed.
Must be.
Yeah. So yeah,
Ah, German Shepherd. Yes, good dogs.
yeah. Go over to DDJ for the sausage stream. I do think that would be a pie stream, to be honest. D is
I don't
all
know. He
about the
seems
pies.
quite into the sausages these days. Loves a good
Maybe
sausage, Dee.
maybe it's a sausage pie.
Ooh, can you have those? Thanks, ladies. Buy yourselves a sausage. I agree. Donated one time lunch. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll use for sausages. Cumberland ones. Yes.
And not the letter forging kind that gets eaten by dogs.
No. None of those fraudulent German sausages over here.
No. As usual, the stories will be up in the next couple of days on our YouTube and our Odyssey. I've also started to upload our previous shows, at least those with an audio quality that is to live with on Odyssey. We'll have to see what we do with the earlier streams. But there are, I think there's 4 streams up now that I uploaded yesterday. So go check that out. Next Sunday we will be talking about foxes, and it will include one of my favorite stories of all time.
Ah, nice.
Translated by me. Yeah, I will translate that one.
Got a fox that sleeps outside mine sometimes. In the garden bit. It sleeps on a wall.
We don't have any foxes running around here, but we do have deer running about. So
nice.
I often get deer in sunset outside of my window, and sometimes in the morning and summer they are relaxing in the garden. We did have a badger actually a few years back. Came.
Badger, nice.
No, definitely not. They went to rummaging around the garbage of one of our neighbors, and they are huge. And
Badgers
if they
are bad then.
not really, but if they do bite you, they won't let go until they hear the bone cracking. So
That's bad.
you
Oh no,
don't.
badgers, vicious. You got honey badgers around yours? Oh, would lots of people are receiving subscriptions from Peter73.
Thank you very
Peter73
much.
gifted 5 1-month subscriptions to users in this channel. So Stephen O got one, Jenny got one, Dianeka's Ghost got one, and Philomena got one. And to
That's
say to Jenny, thank you for the ice cream as well. Thank you very much, Peter73.
yeah. Thank you.
Very
That
generous
is
of you.
absolutely. So
Lovely. Box. Yay.
our family of Sparks is growing. That is great.
Nice. Well, it is about time for us to wrap up the show. We hope you've all enjoyed yourselves. We hope you've all had a wonderful Sunday.
Yeah, and we do hope you have had a wonderful summer and enjoyed the warm weather, unless you are in the southern hemisphere, of course, and just finished winter, just about.
Yes, enjoy
So,
your summer that is coming up. The Southern
yeah.
Hemisphere peoples. Who I
Yeah,
think we have got at least one of hanging around.
yeah.
No, I don't know.
We did before summer, at least.
Nice.
So yeah, thank you for the diamonds, Dianekis Ghost. I hope I
Thank
didn't
you.
butcher the name. So yeah, that's it for us. Hope you will join us next Sunday at the same time.
Thank you,
And
Lumi.
yeah, thank you. And I do
Thank you.
hope that you will be having a nice Sunday evening and have a great week ahead of you.
Yes. Good night, folks.
Good night.
Bye bye. Sleep well.
Sleep
Bye.